Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new season. La Liga off and running on Thursday with 2-1 all draws. We'll preview the Premier League, which gets underway today with Manchester United taking on Fulham, and the Bundesliga. Can Bayer Leverkusen make it 2 out of 2, having never won one before last season? We'll be joined shortly by Craig Burley. Delighted to say that on today's ESPN FC Live, taking time out from his vacation in Spain, well, he's actually working. He's doing Valencia, Barcelona, and he's also doing Mallorca, Real Madrid on Sunday. Is the Champions League winner, Luis Garcia. How are you?
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. And I was doing commentary yesterday for the Girona Real Betis. So, yeah, we are back to work.
Unlike some people, you don't say no. So thank you for that. Let's get down and into the La Liga prep. Real Madrid have added Kylian Mbappe to a side that won the league by 10 points last year. How can they be stopped?
That's a different question, and the answer that we will all have would like to have, because it looks very difficult. I'm a Barcelona fan. I'm Atletico former player, but when I see Real Madrid, the way that they have been playing, the way that they have been signing in the past few years, it looks so difficult to think that they are going to miss again to win at least La Liga. It's true that Barcelona looks strong. Looks different, a little bit refreshing from the new manager trying to bring something different. And Atletico Madrid has done a great work in the transfer market, probably the more active, bringing Lenormand, Solov, Julian Alvarez, that I think is a very, very good signing for Atletico Madrid, thinking that last year they finished 70 points behind Real Madrid, and they needed goals up front because when Morata and Memphis Depay got dry, it was difficult to find goals from anywhere else. So I think that's something very good. But if we focus on Real Madrid, how can you stop them? How can you manage? Even though that the people say that Cruz is going to be important, I agree. I think that Cruz is a very important piece for Real Madrid. We saw them last year, how he can handle situations when the team needs to do something different. Those passes, those switching of play, those passes in between the lines, making the other team better, creating something from nowhere. Is something that Real Madrid is going to miss this year. I don't think that Valverde, Casemiro, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Bayos, players, even Brahim Diaz, players that they're playing to the midfield, they are going to bring that into the field. But when you look up front of that, it looks like probably the best strike force that we can see anywhere else with Bellingham, Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Arda. They got so many options, and all of them are good.
It's a frightening front four, but I want to bring in Craig Burley. Delighted to say he can join us on ESPN FC Live. Craig, how are you? And how do Real Madrid replace Toni Kroos? Nice, easy question to start you off.
Well, I don't think they can replace him, as Luis was saying there. He's such an important player for them because over the years, he's brought so much control to the game in times when it's became hectic. Now, they have players in there who can pass the ball. You know, Tchouaméni can pass it, Camavinga can pass it, Valverde, more of a runner. Obviously, Luka Modric is a fantastic passer of the ball, but we know he's in his late 30s now, and his time was limited last year. So nobody could manoeuvre the ball in a Real Madrid jersey in recent years like Toni Kroos. And so in moments of pressure and big games and adversity, that's going to be missing, that cool, calm, experienced head. And that's going to be one of the intriguing things about watching Real Madrid this year and La Liga is, you know, these new players coming in and some of the old guard have left. And, you know, how are these teams going to cope? And I think it's going to be certainly a new midfield, a more energetic midfield. But they're going to be missing that cool, level head that none of the rest of them, to be quite honest with you, have.
And the fact, Luis, they haven't added anybody in that area suggests they think they've got enough. But further forward, is it simply what we kind of saw against Atalanta in the Super Cup, where it'll be Vinny on the left, Rodrigo on the right, Mbappe through the middle, and Bellingham in behind? Is that how they're going to kind of play their front four?
We've been trying to understand what Ancelotti was going to do, how the system is going to work from the very beginning. When just the rumors of Kylian Mbappe arriving to Real Madrid was starting, we thought, okay, Mbappe is going to play in the left side. It's going to be Vinicius Junior in that side, or he's going to play in the right or to the middle. We saw that they got totally freedom. I mean, I saw Rodrigo going to the right, to the left, dropping, Bellingham arriving in second line, Kylian playing on the left at some point, but also into the middle. So you got so many options. They are players who are very well to adapt. Of course, we know that Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior, they enjoy more. They get the best of them from the left side because of his ability to make those diagonal, to face 1v1 situations. But when you got that freedom, also allowed you to get crazy the defenders, because you need to be focused. Last year it was about, okay, if we double up in the right side, we're going to stop Vinicius Junior, and that's almost the most important problem, because Jude Bellingham is arriving second line. If we have an eye on them, that's okay. But now with Rodrigo, with Kylian Mbappe, with Vinicius Junior, with Jude Bellingham, there are so many options that the team have to worry, to be a threat to the opponent. And that's something that for a defensive perspective team is very difficult. And we saw it against Atalanta. In the first goal of Valverde, everyone was looking at what Mbappe was doing into the box, and he was moving to the near post, so he was free in the second one. So Valverde was going to tap it in. And in the second one, exactly the same. What the first movement of Kylian Mbappe was doing, getting closer to Jude Bellingham, and then going away to receive the ball. That's the different makers players can do. I mean, they got so much football intelligence ability that is very difficult to control. I don't expect them to play in one position, but to have so much freedom that they would put a lot of problems to the opponent.
Let's talk Barcelona, Craig. 44 goals conceded last season. They only conceded 20 when they won the title the year before. They've added Dani Olmo, but they haven't strengthened defensively. There's goals in that team, of course, but how do they sort out what was a very leaky defence last year?
Yeah, and they haven't really sorted out the holding midfield position, which relates then to the defence or the defensive midfield area, where, you know, Frankie de Jong was out for periods last year. So he was a mess. They played Ilkay Gundogan a little deeper there, but that's not really his position. And Dani Olmo comes in, and we know Dani Olmo is a player who operates. And yes, he'll work hard and he'll get back, but he operates in the final third. That's where he's at his best. And if you remember, for those that watched a lot of La Liga and Barcelona last year, Andreas Christensen ended up playing in the middle of the park at the end of the season, or towards the end of the season, and did a decent job. But that's kind of, and that was the warning signs that Xavi felt that his back line that was already creaking a little bit needed some protection in there. And that's going to be a big area for them. Yeah, we can talk about all these goals and, you know, all these attacking players, and of course they have that. But it's not just about the back four, which didn't play well last year. There's no doubt about it. Young Garcia came in at 16, played very well, was arguably one of the best players. Baldi was out for long periods. You know, Jules Koundé and Juan Araujo, it wasn't the greatest season, for sure. But it's not all down to them, and a lot of it is down. If you look at Man City and others, the most important player, you could argue, and for Spain, the same thing in winning the Euros was Rodri, right? That role is pivotal. Not only in possession, when, you know, you have to link the defence and the fullbacks to the wide and the front, you link the play, but you have to have yourself in good positions. And Barcelona really don't have that player. Yeah, Frankie de Jong can get the ball from deep and play out from the back, but I wouldn't describe him as a player in the same ilk as Rodri, who can make tackles and cover fullback. So for me, that is still a position that since Sergio Busquets left, and even though the legs were going, he did an amazing job for what seemed like a decade plus. They haven't replaced that role.
Luis Fermin, Lamine Yamal haven't needed to replace areas that they play, and they did so well for Spain. Young, up and coming. Lamine, now 17 years old, was a star at the Euros. As a former player, but also as a fan of the football club, how excited are you about Lamine Yamal and Fermin Lopez this season?
Yeah, very much. I think that they bring that philosophy and idea of playing the way of Barcelona, of course, with the new extra, the 2.0 mentality of having that pressure, that intensity, being bold in terms of going ahead, not being scared, afraid to beat people on 1v1 situation or to try things. I think that Fermin has brought something extra. We all remember when Xavi Hernandez and Iniesta used to play in that kind of position, arriving second line to score, and Fermin Lopez bring that. And Lamine Yamal, even with his youth, has shown us that he's just so clever. He takes the right decisions. He makes something different on the right side. He can score goals, but also assist. He's a player who is gonna be worried for a lot of opponents. But the most important, I think, for Barcelona, and I agree totally 100% with Craig, is that position of holding midfielder. Because last year, let's don't forget, no Pedri, no Gavi, no Balde. They were no Frankie de Jong. There were 3-4 important players that they can be playing the 11 starters. People is talking a lot about, they haven't signed players. Those are going to be the new signings for Barcelona. The last year struggled to get closer to Barcelona, but being ready to face this season, this competition, being fresh, and of course trying to be a challenge, a new challenge for this 2024-25. I think it's very important to understand that this team, this squad, is going to be ready to challenge. I'm not sure if they're going to win the league because it's going to be a long season for all of them. But definitely those incorporation with young players, with plus Dani Olmo, something that I think is going to make a big difference up front, because Barcelona right now doesn't have too much goal. It's only Lewandowski. The rest of the players maybe can add 7-8 goals maximum during the whole season. But Dani Olmo is a player who I'm sure that together with Fermin can add 10 plus goals during the season, and that can give you the chance of competing for La Liga. So really excited to see if they can manage to keep that consistency that is needed.
Before we let you go, Luis, a chat about your former team, which, when you think about it, you left there for Racing Santander Atletico Madrid in 2009, and the following year, Diego Simeone took over at the end of 2010, and he is still there, having replaced Gregorio Manzano. They have spent more than 80 million more than anybody else. They've added a lot of talent. Lenormand has come in, Sturlot has come in, and of course, the most money was spent on Julian Alvarez. Is that enough, given that they haven't lost too many, to be a proper contender instead of the fourth place finish they had last year?
Honestly, I think that is going to be enough to compete. Last year, they were too far away from Real Madrid. I think they missed a key piece up front. I think Morata got dry in the last 2-3 months, so we couldn't see the better of Morata. And Memphis Depay was getting injured. Correa didn't have the rhythm. He's not a player who's going to give you 20 goals during the season. And Griezmann got tired. You could see that also during the... You couldn't see the best of Antoine Griezmann in the last part of the season. Yes, in the beginning, but he got tired because he had so much things to do. This season, Antoine Griezmann is going to have the chance of having two players up front who can capitalize their chances. You're going to still having the Llorente on one side, Lino on the other side, plus Lenormand at the back. That is a proper leader that can give you that extra that probably Savic in his prime used to give it to this team. So I think they might need another. They've been trying to get Gallagher from Chelsea. He got stopped for now. He's on hold. But if they manage to bring another player there into the middle, they will have reinforced every single line. And again, I think up front with Julian Alvarez and Solo, they are going to be totally different players who can make the difference. So, yeah, I think that this Atletico Madrid is ready to challenge for the competitions.